Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m., March 12th. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday was a very volatile session. Moved back and forth, made new lows, closed below the previous day's close. So the prices did, at the end of the day, move lower. But it definitely was a very back and forth session. While that was happening, Trump was going back and forth with Canada about tariffs, reciprocal tariffs. So that news weighed on markets. So just a very volatile market right now. Market's ripping. Yesterday, I think on a 5 minute candle in the ES futures, it was almost at one point at 20 points a 5 minute candle. That is insane. I would say maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, a candle could have been 5 points for a 5 minute candle. It's four times that now. So very crazy. Did have a nice little long yesterday, but yeah, this market's kind of crazy, and I've been like trying to create certain things during the day, so that's been kind of taking me away. Um, Working with AI to like create certain things. Like now, I'm pretty much on the final stages of when I do my gamma levels every day. I had an app that I created, but then I'd have to plot things. Now I have a script that automatically plots my levels with gamma flip points and positive and negative gamma. I've just been working on that a lot. So also these RRG charts that I created as well, which are pretty cool. So I mean, I'll share that with you. I shared one the other day, but I made a better one now. So it's just cool to see sector rotations and stuff like that from from certain days and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and buying profile to find structure in these markets. Along with gamma exposure level, supply and demand, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day, along with market internals. I like to share that info with you guys, right? Because I know that this helps me read the charts just easily, right? Do I need some of these things anymore? Not really, but it's just easier to see. I'd rather it be easier. Okay. Every day I do this, and hopefully you can join me. Give you the story, the lowdown on the markets, leaders and laggards, the news, and long trade short scenarios. All right, and then of course I make trading videos, and I will post them on my X at Gonzo719. Also, if you want, you've got TikTok. You can find me at Gonzo719 Trader. Okay. Now, like I said, certain things have been happening where it's prevented me to go online, so I am prepared to go online today, and you can join my Discord server, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage and join me. Join the community. That would be awesome. All right. Now, let's get right into the markets. Let's get right into the markets. And who's leading the pack today? It's crude. Remember, I have my eye on crude. I've been saying that, right? Crude's up 1.33%. Silver's up 1.17, Nasdaq's up 0.90, ES up 0.74, Russell up 0.57, Dow's up 0.54, the 10-year yield is up 0.37, and the dollar is up 0.23, gold down 0.06, 30-year bond slightly being sold, Bitcoin down 0.19, Ethereum down 2.04%, and the VIX is down 3.27. We're at a 26 VIX, still very volatile. All right, let's look at the Mag 7 Plus here. Now I saw some firms and stuff like that giving upgrades to Tesla. I even saw a price target of 800 because Tesla's been battered. Okay, so Tesla's leading the pack. All right, followed by Nvidia up 2.22%, followed by AMD up 1.57%, Broadcom up 1.48, Meta's up 1.37, Google's up 1.28, JP Morgan up 1.12, Coinbase up 1.11. Netflix up 0.91. Um, let's see who's lagging today. Eli Lilly. Now Eli Lilly has had a massive pullback, so that's knocked into the healthcare sector a little bit because that's the largest holding in the healthcare sector. Okay, moving on to sectors. All right, who's leading the pack today? We got semis. Semis is up 1.54, followed by technology up 1%. Discretionary up 0.89. Financials up. Utilities up. Everything is up. There is no laggards today. Okay. Everything is up. There is no laggards today. All right. Let's move on to economic calendar. By the way, that was your futures watch list here. And we're going to move into the economic calendar. Let's do that. Let's see what we have on top. Now we have big news today. We have CPI. So we're going to look at headline CPI. That is 2.9 we're expecting. We got 3 before. So expecting a 0.1 down. Core inflation. Expecting 3.2. We're expecting to go down 0.1 as well. So really have to see how that goes today. 30-year mortgage. Let's see. Previous 6.3, 6.7. So that's going down to the 10-year going down. All right. Now we go into some news here. Trump's metals tariffs draw swift EU retaliation. President Donald Trump increased tariffs on all U.S. steel and aluminum imports took effect, stepping up campaign to reorder global trade in favor of the U.S. and drawing swift retaliation from Europe. Exclusive TSMC pitched Intel Foundry JV to NVIDIA, AMD, and Broadcom. Sources say TSMC has pitched U.S. chip designers, NVIDIA, and AMD, and Broadcom about taking stakes in the joint venture that would operate Intel factories, according to 4 sources familiar with the matter. Amazon, Google signed pledge to support tripling of nuclear energy. Wow, I'm sure nuclear energy stocks are rising today. I haven't checked that. Let's see. Musk, Ambani join hands in surprise Starlink India internet deal. Okay. Just looking at other stuff here. It says Elon Musk kicked off his appeal to try to restore 56 billion payday. Toyota Japanese automaker said that it will launch a total of 9 fully electric models in Europe in 2025. All right, I think we're good there. Let's look at the juice. Let's see. Says Canada to announce 28.8 billion in retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. in response to Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs Wednesday. Okay, that's that. Let's look at where we are in the markets. Let's look at some charts. So a couple charts I'd like to look at here. How frothy are we getting here? Downside. Right now, this is lower. Okay, so now 25% of stocks are above the 20-day moving average. So extreme levels is down here, right? This other extreme level I would say is around 29. So we're basically at a point where I think we're going to get a bounce soon. Okay. Look at these other areas where we stopped here. Like, right, remember I said that if you look above, that's the SPX. So every time we came here, we bounced. Okay. The other extreme is if you have 91% usually go down, like right here. So that's one factor. So we know 25% of S&P 500 stocks are above. That's not a big number. Okay, moving on. Let's look at the bullish percent index of the S&P 500. Let's see where we're at there. So this just shows the percentage of stocks on a buy signal in the S&P 500. 40% of stocks are at a buy signal. Okay, you can see, let's go back I think we can go back 5 years. So let's just see where that lines up. That's not really the worst. There's been a lot lower readings in 24, so it's not the worst. Okay, if we go to new highs minus lows, let's look at that. We're at a minus 142. We've been lower than that before, but that obviously more stocks are making new lows. and we'll end it with the AAI bull and bear sentiment. Now I think this reports once a week, so yeah, so this means that only 19% of investors are bullish. Okay, that's a pretty low reading. You could see that it's extremes here. So very extremes here. So, and let's look at the bear. 57% of investors are bearish. That also goes with kind of extremes here. You can see from the past. We were at 60, but now it's a little less. Okay. All right. You can move on to daily charts. If we have time, I'll show you those RRG charts that I made. They're pretty cool. So, all right, we're gonna go into daily charts. Let's check those out. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit. So we have a trend line, right from this low, around 418, 2024. We've hit it once. That lines up with last year's anchored VWAP, 542.79. Okay. Yesterday we made new lows. We closed basically at the previous day's lows. Okay. So we haven't made it down to this swing low yet. Let's call this 540. Okay, we haven't made it down there yet. Not saying we will. Okay, but we're definitely gonna be close under the 100-day moving average. 200-day moving average multiple days. Okay, where are we at now? 560.80. 560.80. So we are at the top third of yesterday's session. Let's look at futures just to give you a visual of where we're at. There we go. So there's yesterday, and see, you can see we're up here right now. Okay, underneath last week's range. So that's that. Now looking at the Qs, you can zoom out. Actually, probably can put a nice little trend line on here. I think this trend line was broken actually. That's why I don't have it there. There's another one right here that would line up there, but right now you can see we touched last year's anchor VWAP yesterday. Right there. So I'm contemplating some type of structure for a bounce because we already closed well below the 200-day moving average. We're well in correction territory in the QQQ and last year's anchor VWAP. So this just means that whoever bought the QQQ last year, the beginning of the year, is basically even. They're break even. So that's pretty significant. Okay. Where are we at now? We're at 476. 476.60. Right here. So again, at the upper third of the session, let's look at futures so we can just visualize it. There we go, right there. Not quite at yesterday's highs, but here, see, this could be a temporary bottom, right? And I mentioned the big high volume node in futures that I didn't think the Nasdaq was going to cut through. Okay. Now, let's get over to our triple headed monster and look at that bond market. All right, so bond market. Here we go. So, interesting. Today we're getting a little rise. Where are we at? 4.36, right? So we came down here, hit this level, 4.13, and bouncing, right? Now, this is over the last year's anchor VWAP. Now, of course, we can just push up here and we can make another swing high and possibly go down. I don't know. Don't know, but that's your 10-year yield. Let's look at the dollar. The dollar has taken a mighty fall. You can see this fall. Boom. Okay, right at last week's lows, below the 200-day moving average. Okay, so right at this swing low. If you break this, that is not much support here. You can go all the way down to 100. So don't know what's going to happen there. Okay, and we got our VIX. All right, you can see that volatility is just holding up there. Now, yesterday we did make a high here at 29.57. Today we're pushing down a little bit with the market bouncing a little bit, but still very volatile. Very volatile. Okay, I'm just being super patient with my entries. Really being patient, like super, super patient. I'm actually working on a new execution system where at certain times I'm just scaling in instead of throwing 100% of my risk. I'm kind of putting a quarter out there, adding a quarter. So I'm working on kind of a new system, analyzing my data. All right, so we're going to move on to the market profile, the volume profile. And we have our news still coming out, but we're going to just look and recap yesterday. Moving along here pretty nicely. All right, let's recap yesterday. All right, so yesterday opened up, pushed up a little bit, went down, pushed down, right? This is where I got long in here. And I was scaling in, so I was able to take it off. Good morning, Chief. Around here. And then we rolled over, made new lows, broke these lows, kind of touched and nipped this demand zone, and then ripped up into this made supply here, and then came all the way back down. Just very volatile, right? Very volatile. What's really difficult for this market is every day Trump can say tariff, another country could say tariff, and the market reacts, right? And the longer we stay down here, I mean, normally you're going to make another low like we did yesterday. Okay, now the 24-hour most traded price of the week is right here. That's probably going to move down, make this most traded price of the week move down here to about 56.23. We're right there right now. So the CPI is a nothing burger. It's going to be more about tariffs. You know, Trump almost said he's not ruling out a recession, which was why these markets kind of was like, whoa, right? So that's looking at our ES right now. Now we're inside this overnight inside yesterday's session here. You're inside, right? So you want to look to what we can do with the highs, what we can do with the lows. Really, what that's is about. Okay. We have demand here, we have supply here. That can all change with a weird, crazy CPI number that comes out. All right. Now, we have about a minute. I'm going to show you the RRG charts that I made. I think it's pretty cool. Just give me a second. I'm going to generate those. So the first thing I like to look at is the main sectors, right? Main sectors. All right. And with the app that I'm using, see, I haven't made an actually an app yet. You can see right here my code. Okay, so I'm going to enter a specific date. So I'm going to go back to the 21st of October. That's when we kind of pivoted lower. And this is going to give me a chart, an RRG chart. It's pretty cool. Okay, let me reposition this for you guys. Hold on. So I just think it's pretty cool. News in 30 seconds. So this is how markets have been moving since the 21st. These are stronger. Everything to the right here is stronger than the SPY, relatively stronger. Anything that's up on this axis means it's gaining momentum. Okay, so you can really see the laggards and what's been strong, right? Now we have data coming out right now. So let's go to the data. Off of these RRG charts. Let's see what the data is. It's coming in here. Alrighty. Oh, okay. So we're expecting 3.2. We got 3.1 in the core. So it went down zero point 0.2. Okay, went down zero point 0.2. Headline, we were expecting 2.9 and it went to 2.8. So it went down zero point 0.2. I'm going to assume market's probably going to like that. All right, so let's look now at the market. Yep. All right, so let's just look at, where we go here. Here we go. You can see the market loves it, right? Maybe any money, that Fed Watch tool is going to show some cuts. It's probably due to some energy. Obviously, core doesn't, but energy has been weak as of late. So we're up here now. We just broke that supply. Okay, where did we hit? Where did we hit? Let's expand this. Okay, we hit last week's lows. Right there. 56.73. That's where you got resistance right now. Now you got very thin volume. So market is liking these inflation going lower. Okay, market's liking it. Now it's hard to formulate a plan because I don't know what's going to happen from now. Okay, so that's what the ES looks like. If you want to look at the NASDAQ, here's our NASDAQ. NASDAQ, where did it go? Right to last week's lows. Right here. Same resistance area. So I guess Algos took some profits there. Let me go back to the ES. Okay. So, all right. So, like I said, this could fall back and we go back into range. Okay. Kind of got to let the dust settle a little bit here, to be honest with you. Now, why don't we look at how futures are handling these numbers? So, look at the Russell. Loving this, right, for those small cap companies, right? So, Russell's getting love. Russell's up over 2%. Silver's up 1.77. Nasdaq's up 1.68. Crude's up 1.54. ES up 1.30. Bitcoin's up 1%. The Dow is up 0.92. Gold up 0.21. 30-year bonds are being bought. Okay, the dollar is flat. The 10-year yield is down. The VIX is down 3.83%. Okay, that's what we're looking at now. Now, just interesting, look at these Mag 7s. Look at Tesla, up 6.25%. So these stocks are getting love. Their stocks are getting love. So this is what we're dealing with, folks. Big move up. Now you're like in the middle of this little move. And now it's all about the market. What you call it? Let's split this out. Hold on. I don't know. This is getting sold into now. Let's just look at it on an hourly chart here. I'm going to move back over to an hourly chart. Oh. I just want to look at this on an hourly chart. All right. Go to the hourly charts here. Boom. And we'll do a little different thing today. Right. Just for the sake of this. So, what are we looking at here? Right. So, I have an anchored VWAP from this low. This is the ES. So this anchored VWAP is moving sideways, and now we've made a move, right? So obviously we're starting to create a little area here. So last week's lows, we tagged that, and then you have this bottom, right? So this is our little playground right now. You can see this high volume node, right? The market needs to accept price above that, and right now it's rejected right here. Okay, now you know it's rejected right here. There's demand here now, right here, from this move. Okay, now if I really want to, I can put an anchored VWAP off this candle right here and track the CPI candle. Okay. Might do that in a little bit. That's called the scene of the crime right here. That's where the move happens. You broke week to day VWAP right here. All right. So what I'm looking at is this. All right. You got this area, 5673. Bulls want to break that area. Bears want to defend. Now, as far as levels the bull going to defend, you got the scene of the crime here. You got this demand zone here. Okay. So I'm going to explain it this way today, a little more brief if we stay here. Okay, so what are we looking for, right? What are you looking for? Well, let's look at what happened yesterday. Now, you did have a double bottom form. So right here and here, right? And this is where I got long. When I saw this, I go, okay, I got this move, right? But that wasn't the real move, right? What happened in this was, of course, they swept to these lows right here with this candle. And this candle went right into demand. And that just took out longs. And of course, what happens? Reversed. The shorts took profit, and that became the big move. Okay. Okay, so this is our playground now. Right? You got a nice wick here. Now, this is what it's all about today. All right. I'm just going to keep it here in the whites. Stay here. Okay. You know people took profit there. That's fine. So what do you want to see if you're a bull? Okay. This is for the bull. So we'll just change it to green. I don't have to put green boxes in. I'll just put green. Okay. So price, basically what I told you, right? We need to get out of this area for bulls to really have a shot. So number one, okay, you could pull back into this area. Okay. That's going to be around a little bit above, in between 5600 and 5620. Okay. You want to see what we do here. This is the most traded price of yesterday right here. So if you find some footing here in the market, firms up, you could reach this 5660 high volume node and last week's lows. Okay. Now, for the real move to happen, you need to bust out of here and find acceptance. Find acceptance. You notice this big pocket in volume, right? See this poor structure here. Not saying you can do it, but you can go right back up to here, around 5750. Okay, now what's this box here obviously for? Well, let's say the market doesn't pull back, and what does it do? It can break this, hold, and go up there as well. Okay, that's if this holds. Now, what if price comes down here into this demand? A lot of support here. Okay, you can hold it. And let's see, market internals wise, what's leading. Is tech leading? Then this could be a viable move as well. Okay, that is your long side. All right, let's go with your short side. Okay, again, we're getting a nice wick here. Right, So same stuff goes here. Okay. So if the market opens up, right? Because now look at that. That's going away, that move. Okay. Opens up. And let's say it runs up here and gets problems here. Let's say it can't find acceptance over this price. We slip back under. That can make the market go down to here. Right? You're going to get a bounce down here. How big of a bounce, I don't know. So you can get like this. You need to take out these lows here. These lows. And find acceptance. And then you could try to take out this low. And go. And then you have another demand zone down here. And you possibly go down to 55.20. Okay. This is if we move up, right? We could also come back right here, probably bounce a little bit, break, and then go down here as well. So that's the short side. Okay. Now let's move on to the NASDAQ. All right, let's zoom in here. All right. Let's look at the NASDAQ. So let's look at our levels together. All right, so NASDAQ, you can see the NASDAQ's putting in higher lows right here, right? Here, higher low, higher low. Okay, that's been the most beaten down is your tech. Okay, now the most traded price of the week is here. So we have a little demand zone right here now. Okay, demand zone here, big demand, and your most traded price of the year down here. That's 190.73. I said yesterday I do not think that this gets taken out yet, because if it does, that's big, that's huge, right? It has not been taken out. Okay, now look at what we have here. Okay, so we have our zone again. This is last week's lows. Look at the resistance, right? High volume node here. So this is our little playground. All right. And this is where the bears want to step in and bulls want to break, right? So let's make this a little neater here. Now we know bulls want to step up. Bears want to step up here. Bulls want to break it. We have our little demand zone here. Another demand zone with the most traded price of yesterday and the week. And we know we have our big level down here. Okay. So let's start with the bull side. And it's very similar. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is see if this gets a pullback into this first demand from the CPI. If it holds, then you're going to test this area, right? This kind of now balance high a little bit area with last week's lows. You want to push out of there and hold and hold and hold and see if you can make it up to 20,000. Okay, that's number one. Pullback for me would be the best scenario, right? Now, can we just rip up and hold, and then move up? Of course. That's a little harder to trade for me. Okay. Another thing, pull back. Now you have this demand zone that lines up with yesterday's most traded price and the most traded price of the week. Hold. And you can see if you can make it up to here. Okay. And you just have this big demand zone down here. Like I said, I don't know how much lower right now we can go in this, right? It's a big demand zone. Okay. I would think if we did one of these and went down here, I think that would be a bear trap right now. I think even if we went like this, I think that would be the move back up. Now, if we're down here and it's really weak, but like I were extended, that could be a nice long. Okay. Now let's go to the bear side. Oop. I went too far. I guess there's not another. Okay. I got rid of this big level down here. Okay, bear side. So market's still pushing up a little bit, trying to figure out, do we want to take profits? Do new longs want to come in? That's basically what it's doing. All right, so on the short side, this area right up here, you got to find acceptance into last week's range. If you cannot and you fall back, we're going to test this 195. All right. If you fall under the most traded price of the week, right, you got this low that needs to be taken out. If you do, you're really, this is a lot of demand in here. You're really going to work your way down, and probably I don't see you going much farther than the 191. I really just don't see that happening yet. It's just too beaten down right now. Like I said though, that's not a prediction, right? Because if we do take out this level, oh boy. But I just don't see that yet in the cards. I see we're due for some type of bounce. Okay, but this is what I see for the short side, really, right? So it's all about finding acceptance above you. You can't, we're going to come back in here, right? Now, what also could happen today? What could happen today, right? Is we can push up here, we can sell into here, and then we can just do this today. Because remember, this market's nuts. So that's kind of what I'm looking at today. I'm going to give you guys a candlestick. Probably more easier on the eyes for everybody. But yeah, that is your NASDAQ and ES scenarios on a candlestick 1 hour chart. Okay. The one thing I can go back to you guys, and really cool, that I just want to go back to this RRG chart. I just want to go over it one more time because it's pretty cool. I'm going to be sharing this in my community. All right. This is what's cool about these charts here. All right. So let's maybe get let's get this candle. Let's move. You guys can see this. Okay. Yep. All right. What's cool about these RRG charts, if you're not aware of them, okay, is you have this axis here going left to right, and the farther you're on this side, that means you're weaker, relatively weaker than the SPY, the S&P 500. The farther you are to the right is the stronger you are than the S&P 500. Then on this axis going up, it means that momentum percentage, it's moving more. Okay. So like let's say something was up here that would be stronger than the SPY and has the momentum. Okay. So that's how you read this chart, and it's really cool because I put this is from 221. From 221, you can see what's moved, right? Look at energy. It's went like here, 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 and boom. Over the last 19 days, energy, right? We know healthcare, staples, real estate, all these have been stronger, and financials is still relatively stronger than the SPY, but it has taken a fall, right? And semis gaining momentum, right? Technology gaining momentum, but still weak. You can see improving, weak, gaining momentum. Okay. So I'll leave you with one more because now I have a sub industry, one that I have as well. It's a little more granular. So I'm going to run that as well. So I'm going to also do, you can see here, I'm going to input it here. I'm going to go back to a date, and that will be the same date, 21st, is when we pivot it lower, and it's going to generate an RRG chart. All right, and once that pops up, I'm going to share it with you, and we're going to end on this just to give you what I have on this chart, which is pretty cool. Okay, so on this chart, I have a bunch of sub industries, okay, which goes a little deeper inside what's moving, okay, from the 21st. look at what's been the strongest, one of the strongest. All right, solar, solar energy. So back here, this is pretty cool. From the 21st, you can see solar energy was down here, and this just thing has ripped. Momentum, right? Momentum. Okay, it's not as strong as the insurance. If you look at some insurance companies, boy, they've ripped. But just recently, they've come down a little bit. Okay, what else has made a move? Clean energy, gaining momentum. Still not stronger than the SPY, but this is just really cool. I really think it's cool because you just look at it and go, okay, from this date, February 21st, before we dropped, where was everything? And the dot means is where is that now? Okay. This is, let's see the brown. Let me see, make sure the brown. This is biotech. Seems to be gaining some strength here. And of course, I can zoom into these just to see here. Let's see. Let's zoom in real quick. And then I'll leave you with this. I just think this is really, really cool to see it, right? Really cool. Let's just zoom in here. All right, you can really see what's in this upper right quadrant here. Okay. So solar, you check out solar for the since 19 days ago. Look, metals and mining. They probably had some love yesterday because that dot is pushed up, right? So, but look, real estate, aerospace, defense, all these are all stronger home building than the SPY. But recently, look, if you'll see it, look, it takes a downturn. That means that it's recently just took a downturn. Why is that, right? Well, what's going on? What's going on yesterday? Some of the tech stocks got a little love yesterday, and then this morning they're going to even have more love. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully that's pretty cool because I think it's cool. And then I was able to create those because you have to pay for those on certain sites to get those RRG charts. They're not free. So I just wanted to create it on my own. So that was that. Hopefully that was cool. All right. So hope you enjoyed this analysis. We got a plan. I did candlestick plan today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And what are you going to do? Smash the like button. Smash that like button. Okay. And you can always go to my X at Gonzo719. You can always also see me on Gonzo719 Trader. And of course, today, I promise, I'm going to go live. I've been doing a lot of coding, working on these RRG charts, working on my gamma levels, plotting on Thinkorswim. It's been taking a lot of my time. Also dealing with my heart now that I'm going to have a procedure done. I should be put that in the rear view window, right? And so today, go join my Confluence trading server, Discord. All right, go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, join up. I'm going to go live today. Now, I have to be honest with you, okay? As of late, market internals, right? They're still there, but when you're this volatile, usually the readings that I'm getting, you'll see like a minus 400 in the market internals or something, and usually that is like, whoa. But because of this volatility is like 4 times that, a minus 400 is powerful. Things change quick. So structure is king right now. Generally, market internals drive everything I do. I still look at them. But the market can change on a dime. Like you could see the Qs, not the Qs, tech down like 1%. And within the next 10 minutes, it's like positive. So it's nuts. All right. Anyway, we have our plan today. All right. Everybody, I hope you guys have a great trading day. Stay patient. No trade is a trade. and join me on Confluence Trading. I will be live today. That I will promise you. I got a lot of these things sorted out, so come join me. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you in the room.